Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. So, last night's live, I enjoyed talking to you guys, all of you, so much, the panel and the chat. But there were a few things that I could not get off my mind today, and I think that we need to go over those. There are some other things I want to talk about we didn't get to last night, things that happened yesterday. So I figured let's have a follow up live. Let's have a follow up discussion. I have a couple little points jotted down I want to make sure that we get to. I want to focus for a moment on some comments of someone who was here last night. And then I want to focus on your guys' comments. So thank you, Tess. It makes it so when it's windy, you can't hear the wind, the little fuzzy thing. So I just want to say first, though, I want to focus on the comments at a point here in a moment from a woman named Kresha. Kresha is the niece of Charles Vallow and the daughter of Kay Vallow. And she was here last night. And I think that, what she had to say, it just stuck with me. I think it's important that we talk about it. And I want to talk about some of the things you guys had to say too. I think that you guys had really valid points on both sides. I want to clear up some confusion about some things from last night as well. There's a bunch of different things I want to go through. But thank you guys for being here, and let me just say thank you to Boss Lady, Jess, and Christine for joining. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so if you can't feel the energy of this situation continuously like growing and growing, oh my gosh, it is, and I don't know where it's going to go from here, but I think that, the most important thing that I want to talk about tonight. Okay, so some of the accusations from the former friends have to do with victims, and the fact that, and a lot of it is rumor. We haven't really seen any evidence. I feel pretty grossed out, honestly, if I can be honest with both sides. And I'm going to try to keep like my attitude and my temper down a little bit, because I've definitely been through the roller coaster today as far as that goes, like with my anger towards this, because this stupid petty drama, like, and I get some of it's more than that, right? I'm not saying, but a lot of it is just petty shit talking drama. It is affecting victims and their families, and that's not cool. And it's not been super clear. There's a lot of rumors. These ex-friends are, I know there's recordings that have been out of one of the women, Lindsay, talking about these text messages that reference Tylee. You'll hear that talked about a lot. And I know that we're going to watch an interview that the Glarer did with Lori Hellis, and she's going to talk a little bit about this. I wish that if they were going to bring up these points, that there would be proof. I don't know. I just think that I would like to see, because that's unfair. So let me check on you guys. See, now I don't think it's dogpiling. I will say, look, this would have never happened if this 9-hour live stream event didn't, and then the tour happened. That's dogpiling, is it? No, because a huge platform, other big platforms, going out and no, we're not going to take this to court because we don't want it streamed. So that means you don't want the public to know. No, but then you go out and you show all the public everything anyways, except for they just don't get the other side, right? Because you're doing it on your channel. I don't like that. It's petty and wrong, but not illegal or stalking. Agree. Christina's TikToks and some of the things that she said, number one, I have to think, well, is she not allowed to play, to vent her feelings or experiences? And she didn't name her in any of them that I saw. But some of it wasn't nice, right? And then some of it was just downright gross and uncalled for, going with the brother stuff. But should it? I don't know. It's just exploded so far beyond that. And at the end of the day, like, you know what? If you pulled it out of the court, okay, so we won't ever know what a judge would say. We did hear some of what a judge said, which was you can't control someone's speech with a stalking injunction. It's meant to protect you physically. And that's me re-quoting the judge. That's not how he said it. Okay. So, and remember, all opinions are welcome here. We're going to go through it all. I want to start with Kresha. I think that's the most important, is it not? And yeah, I think that, look, if you're going to put out some really hurtful accusations like this, I lean towards believing it could be true. I told you guys yesterday the vibe I got when the text messages were brought up, and drunk text and texting over cocktails. It just hit me wrong. But also, if you're not going to just put it out, then don't mention it. Don't mention it, because now it's all over, all these rumors, and the families are hurt by this. I mean, what the? I don't know. It just seems like common sense to me, but okay. It's frustrating because Summer Wells, Sebastian, Lily, and Jack are still missing. Oh, Steph, I know. Trust me, because I talk about a lot of cases that nobody cares to listen to. It's unfortunate they just don't care, or they don't know, or they're not interested in it for whatever reason. And I do understand that frustration. Hey, Hoodies and Crowbar, your handle threw me off. Pointer lover. Hey, you guys. It's hitting me wrong because it's just one-sided, in my opinion. Agree. If it would have went to, a court of law, we would have got to hear both sides. It has been the largest rabbit hole, and it's getting wider and wider. Well, we're about to get into that. But first, let me focus on Kresha's comments, because this is the most important part to me. I am really frustrated because I think, God, if you would say these things, like, I get like not liking some of your colleagues or whatever and putting on a nice face because you're professional, and you might say to your friends, God, she's a bitch, or she was hateful, or whatever. I don't understand when it crosses the line into talking about these families. And if you're going to make the accusations, if it's going to be said, be specific, put it out there. Right. So I'm kind of fed up with both sides. To where I'm at. I hope I'm clear, because like everybody's kind of, I don't want to say on one side or the other, but it always kind of ends up that way, doesn't it? And I'm like, ew, 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 because all I can see and hear and think about are the comments that Kresha made. So let's get to them. I have an extension that will pull up every comment from individual people in a live chat, but it is not working. So that's why the live started like 4 minutes late. I was trying to get some of these. So I have timestamped some, and I can search the word invisible to find one. So let's see. We have to go to 155. Actually, here's her first comment. My question is this a desperate attempt to try and suppress nasty comments made about my mother or my family? Because that would make me enraged, and if so, this is bullshit. The fact that she even has to question this, okay, is bullshit. Put it out there. And the fact that someone would even say something about her mother was the grandmother of JJ Vallow. The little boy who was found in the backyard of Chad Daybell wrapped in plastic in his pajamas. Okay? The sweet little precious baby. They are dealing with a great loss. Not to mention Charles, Kresha's uncle and her mother's brother. And I get really frustrated today kind of thinking about this. And I know other family members are concerned. It's just not fair. And not cool. Her identifying info would have been redacted. Right, if they went to court. And here's the fun fact. If something was extremely personal, and because you're a public figure, they'd have even more reason to do this, or a limited public figure, as she said, they'd have even more reason to seal super personal or private information. MK was in here not long ago, like just the other day. Delphi, I heard that too. That's not fair. That those people. Okay, let's go to the next one. If true, I've been running the script through her 9-hour live through Chat GPT, and it points toward being so. About her desire seems to be to suppress text messages about victims and family. Grr, I'm not surprised Chat GPT said that because that's the vibe I got. I told you guys, like the texting and then throwing in that you would be drunk. And would the mods please drop Kresha's link? She has a channel. She's going to speak about this on her channel. This is just to focus. I just want to talk about this for a moment. I want you guys to hear from her how she feels. I just think though, like this is the most important part, and we're kind of getting stuck in all these other places, right? And at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. Thank you, Tess. And just drop it like throughout the next little while or even the whole live because I know that she is going to speak out about it eventually, I believe. And I think that it's best to hear from her. But this is just to say where I'm at today, like reflecting on it. This is what I'm thinking about. Okay. There is this, it's going to be very sad in a moment, you guys. I'm just going to let you know. She said, I guess people feel this kind of thing is a sticky subject, and that's why they don't find me approachable. And she's super approachable. She says, I try to be. And I wanted to bring this one up, and I'll just bring up one more because we're going to hear from her on her channel. If it was going to come out that these messages existed and you were going to name names of victims and things like that, like has been done, why not go to the families first? You know what I mean? I think that would be, thank you, Amber, would be like the first step. Go to the families. Tell them before the whole public. Don't let them hear it like this. Don't let them hear it from rumors and drama and live streams. And come on, man. That's not cool and it's not fair. It's just not. All right. So then the word invisible I have to search for. Let me get to it. She's talking about the 7 gatherers there, but you'll, like I said, you'll get to hear about that from her. She says, much appreciated. It's no fault of your. Oh, wait, that's not it. Let's see, 218. Why did it pop up that 218? It's as if these more exploitive creators integrate themselves into the story and become victims themselves. Lauren has done this and it's left a bad taste in my mouth. And that's true. I agree with her. But it popped up 216. All right, let's go to 216 and 218 because this is her most important comment. To me, I mean, not the most, they're all important. It's just the one that like set with me today. Lauren has never asked for an interview with me. I'm a B-class victim. Y'all get it? And I don't know why it's not pulling up. But at the end of the day, she said it's left me feeling invisible. Man, and I just think that's just... And she also said she wished that she would have told someone directly, with which I agree with. But gosh, I don't know why the transcript is doing this. If you missed the live or if you saw the live, you know what I mean, what I'm talking about. She said that it has left her feeling invisible. You know, these channels, they build huge platforms and huge followings based on these people's worst experience, right? You have a duty to behave in a certain way, pay them respect and honor and show them kindness. And I can understand why you would feel that way. And I think that, you know, that's something that doesn't need to get lost in this. So That's where I'm at. Now we're going to move on to some new things that have happened. Something that happened actually yesterday while we were live. I want to show you guys. Lori Hellis went on the Glares panel, and yeah, the Glare is a friend of mine. I'll drop his link as we go. I want to talk about that, and then maybe pull up a few of your comments, and then yeah, I'm going to leave it at that here until, unless something else major happens. I'm always going to talk about what's happening, not only in the world, but in the true crime community and genre. That's important to me for us to stay like up to date on what's actually going on out there. Agreed. I think it's a dangerous dance getting close to the victims. Well, yeah, the comments were pinned and it seemed almost like theatrical. Hey, Nicole. I think so, Skinny. I've always wondered what the relationship between them was. This is sad. It's very sad. But like I said, you can go back to that live and hear it from Kresha. And please, please go to her channel. You know what? We need to be listening to her from her directly. To me, that's like the biggest thing with this, and listen to them and how they feel. And I'm going to ask you guys, like, if anyone should hear this, and they probably won't, the people that are putting out the information and the ones that are saying that this stuff exists, put out the proof or stop. And also, please, give it to the families first. Like, I get, wanting to share your experience with someone, wanting to show that someone, this is actually what's going on, whatever, but not at the expense of these people that everyone built their platforms off of. And I'm not gonna. I have to say it. And it's set with me all day and probably will. So we'll move on from that. I'm sorry, but yeah. Hey, Andy. All right. So let's go to this interview. And you can go over to the Glares channel and watch the full live. We're just jumping in at this part here. Let's see. Let me jump back a little bit. We'll be dropping his link as we go, and some of the links from last night and everything. But yeah, like, I'm just at this point, I think all of it is not good. All right.
We could totally hear you, Lori.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us. Let me give you a round of applause.
Lori Hellis is an attorney. She's retired. She's going to talk about that in a moment. She'll give us her background in this interview. So I'm not even going to do it for her, but she is a part of this. And it'll tie into what we're talking about.
Here. Okay, so you're the talk of the town right now because you seem to be the only loud voice that is opposing these claims against the claims made by Lauren from Hidden True Crime.
Oh, honey, I've been a loud voice my whole life, but
hell yeah.
I heard that. Oh, you're in good company, I promise.
So I'm a retired lawyer. I practiced.
Let me just say too, people may feel how they feel about Will. He's a friend of mine, and not that we talk all the time or anything, but yeah, I like Will. I think that he's great. So go check out his channel. He talks about a lot of other cases. Like, he really has talked a lot lately about Karen Reed and been a huge part of that, which has been really cool to see. But
Criminal law for 30 years.
Okay.
And afterwards decided that I wanted to pursue writing. So I wrote a book about the Vallow Daybell case.
Okay.
Early on, while I was working on it, because the book didn't come out until the trials were done, I started this little newsletter blog. Lauren discovered it and called me and asked me if I would come on her. At that time, she and John, her husband, were doing
Tess says, I know for certain. Where's my tab? I know for certain all of the loved ones are paying close attention to everything that is happening. Yeah. And I think that it's important for everybody to realize that, really take that in and what that means. Okay.
A podcast. And I said, sure, why not? And so over the next year, I appeared on her show just about every week on Fridays. And we did a live about, it started out about the Vallow Daybell case, because that's what I was writing about. But it pretty soon morphed into other true crime cases. So
See, now a lot of people got really big platforms. I gotta say this because it ties this in with Kresha's comments. Many people grew extensively from that case, especially if they were on the scene, because the case happened over months and months, right? Because for a while there, you know, it was just, where are the kids? Where's Lori as well? No one knew where Lori was. Then Nadine's, you know, she's in Hawaii. We have the footage of Nadine, and where are the kids, Lori? Down in Hawaii. And then she's put in jail because she will not answer where they're at. And it takes a while. It's not until, and that's like at the end of the year, it's not until the next June that the kids are found in Chad's yard, when Chad's charged and everyone's charged. And then, of course, the court process moves along slowly because Lori's sick. Remember, Lori at one point couldn't stand trial. So some of these creators in those first days that were there and on the scene and, you know, knew the history, like the Mormon stuff or the area, they did build platforms off of that case because it just blew up. And it's just the facts. So I can understand if that's your family, those are your loved ones, you're kind of like, you know, not that you don't, like, you want people to report on it, so it's good that people grow, but it just, don't use them like in a nasty way, and don't be fake and abusive. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Be professional and realize what you're dealing with, you know?
I'd been appearing for about a year, and Lauren and I had gotten to be friends. You know,
I didn't know
we
that.
talked
I
other than
don't know about that.
during the lives, and we'd gotten to be what I would consider friends. And then, kind of out of the blue, she said, we're going to take a break from having you on the show. And she kind of ghosted me. She ghosted me for, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. And I said, okay,
This is
that's
just a
your,
little bit of
you know, you're
history.
entitled to do that. It's your show. And so I kind of went on my way. But I enjoyed doing
Okay.
it. And people started reaching out to me and saying, hey, you know, we miss you. So I thought, well,
So for
maybe
those
I'll
of
just
you
start
coming
my
in
own.
and asking, Lori Hellis, she's explaining how she knows Lauren. She's an attorney. She had a blog. She was writing about the case. Lauren brought her on. They would do shows together. And we're at the point where she created her own channel. Lori was there at CrimeCon when all of this happened. And she knows a lot about that background. I guess, you know, she witnessed some things that happened at CrimeCon, Christina being removed, and that piqued her interest to know what is going on. As an attorney, she looks into the case and she's like, whoa, this is not this. So that's kind of, it's just her professional opinion on this experience that we're listening to.
Little channel. So I did.
Right on.
Before I started my channel, though, I reached out to Lauren. I told her what I was doing, and I told
Oh, really,
her
Kathy? I don't know.
what I was thinking about, and she was, you know, effusively excited, supportive. You know, oh, we'll promote you. It'll be great. Well, I had purposefully scheduled my live to talk about legal stuff in these true crime stories, purposely scheduled it an hour before hers so that
Now, this is interesting because this, like, little petty stuff happens in these small communities, these scheduling over each other. It will start wars, okay? You guys don't realize that really has subscribers, but little things like that have started huge, huge, like, blow ups. People just, yeah.
people could just roll right over into hers. Well, it took about a week before she started scheduling over the top of me, and that kept happening.
Wow.
So I
See,
thought,
we there's the kids have a term for that in these YouTube streets. It's
yeah,
called a hater.
right. So I didn't say anything. I just moved my live to a different night. And
Yeah.
but it was clear from some stuff that I was hearing that she was sort of doxing me behind the scenes. So
Hmm.
for 3 years that I was working on the book and waiting for all the trials to be done, I didn't ever say anything about Lauren. People would ask, "Why aren't you on her show anymore?" And I would say, "Ask her." Or
Now, that to me says a lot because she could have, talked trash the whole time. She tried to keep it classy, keep it pushing, not get into it until all of this happened, right? And some people feel the opposite way. Why didn't you say anything until now? But to me, if she was just trying to start shit or drama, like she would have mentioned it long before now. Mama Bear says, and I want to be reading your guys' comments along the way because like I said, that's a huge part of this live. At the end, there's a few in particular I'd like to talk about, but Mama Bear says, I'm behind, but I'm sorry. This isn't dogpiling, in my opinion. Lauren bringing this to the court of public opinion to dogpile Christina. No one knew this until Lauren brought it. She expected everyone to just, whoa, where's the rest of it? Hey, Natasha. Hearing her perspectives. Yes, it is very interesting. I didn't realize she showed receipts, so we're going to hear it. Okay, so she goes on to say, believe her with not looking at the other side. Now everyone Lauren has screwed over is coming out to tell and show their proof. It's also wrong to call Christina the stalker when Lauren dropped the case. I agree. I do agree. And Melissa had talked about that last night too, and she said that from the beginning when we were talking privately. Like, I have a big problem with that stalker word being used over and over and over. It's defamatory. She hasn't been deemed a stalker by the courts. Yes, Skinny, this is all just weird. A good reminder that discernment is important. Lauren is also not the victim of true crime. Okay, let's keep going. Totally fair for everyone else to tell their side. Agree. And I think if we're going to talk about, one, we should talk about it all. That is why. And I'm going to drop the link in a second. If you missed Chasing's coverage of the beginning of this, immediately that's what she did. She went into both sides. Very fair with no opinion. Just, maybe there's more. Okay, let me keep looking. Maybe there's more. So it was really good.
I don't know. I wouldn't answer. Then in May of 2024, I got an email from a anonymous sort of I want to stay anonymous person who said, "Hey, I just got a advanced copy of your manuscript from Lauren." And that seems like that's not right.
And specifically from Lauren. They
Yeah,
named her and said, Lauren
right.
sent this to me. Okay.
So the guy sent me the email.
Okay, pause. We're going over here. We're going over here. More receipts. So Lauren started out saying someone hacked her computer and sent out my manuscript. Then she backed off. Now, this I appreciate. If you're going to make claims, damn it, bring the receipts. Because especially if you're going to drag the families and the victims into it. But so Lauren started out saying someone hacked her computer and sent out my manuscript. Then she backed off that and said she only sent it to her team and to someone to fact check. The person she claims was fact checking it denies she asked him to do it. And here's yet another person who says she sent it to them. It's up to you to decide who's telling the truth. And it says, on Tuesday, May 7th, Nate News Now sent a preview copy of author Lori Hellis' book to Lauren. On May 8th, Lauren forwarded that email to others, myself included. And then it shows the look at this forward message, the title of the book from Nate Eaton. Now, let's go back to the other one because it says more receipts. Hi, Lori. I'm a longtime listener and wanted to reach out to you, but I'm using a temp email as I really don't want to be dragged into this drama. I can say that if she sent this to me, I'm sure she sent it to others. She had no reason to share this with me, nor do I think she had any right to. This also shows that she got it from Nate. Who knows who else he sent it to? I don't know how you can look into this further, but I'm happy to try and provide any further info if I can. I just don't want to be pulled into this, but Lauren needs to realize this is not okay. Here's an email she sent me. It included an email from Nate and from your publisher. This included a link to your book. I do not believe she had any right or reason to pass this out like free candy. Email back if I can try to provide you any further info. I'm sick of seeing things like this. And then again, the emails. So just to show that as we listen.
So, and about that time, Lauren started blowing up my publisher. She was inundating my publisher with phone calls. She was claiming that my book was all plagiarized from her work. She was claiming that, and she tried to get the book stopped.
What?
Well, the publisher didn't buy it.
From her work, huh?
So that all kind of died down. The book came out in September of 2024. I still didn't say anything to anybody about what she'd done. So it wasn't
Okay,
until,
question for the chat, if you feel like it, because I want to pull up your comments, so know that I'll pull it up. What do you think about this, about sending out the book? No, I'm sorry. What do you think about her staying quiet about this until now? Do you have any thoughts on that? Just curious. To me, like I said, it shows that she didn't want the drama. But other people have other opinions, so really curious what you think.
about a week before this last Crime Con, which was in September, early September, a woman reached out to me and she said, "Hey, I used to be friends with Lauren, and she's screwed over a lot of her friends lately, and I would love to talk to you." So we chatted on the phone a little bit, and she said, "Are you going to Crime Con?" "Yeah, I'm going to Crime
Here we
Con." She
go.
said, "Well, so am I. I'd love to meet you." So the first time I
This
met
is
her,
where CrimeCon comes in, but I got to read this comment because I totally agree with the idea of this. Sleuthy says the fact checker was supposed to see if anything in the book was from any of her podcasts. Ha ha ha, give me a break, Lauren, for crying out loud. I just don't understand that, because wouldn't your podcast just be the factual information, which would be in the book anyways? Like, I kind of like it, or she mean just the way she explains stuff, which is still bullshit. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's really no excuse for this, but that excuse, huh? It don't make no sense.
was the Friday night of Crime Con. And we talked for a few minutes, and she said to me, "Do you know that Lauren served me with a stalking order? They had tried to serve it at my house. This woman lived in Utah. Lauren lives in Nevada, and she actually went from Nevada to Utah to swear out this stalking complaint against this woman."
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I
So-
thought it was the other way around because of the
No.
TikTok videos. So it's Christina who lives in Utah and
Correct.
Okay, and Lauren who lives in
Right.
Nevada. Okay, I thought it was the other way around. Got it.
So I said, "Well, what did you know?" I mean, I did family and criminal law for 30 years. I've seen an awful lot of stalking orders and domestic violence restraining orders. And
Sure.
so I said, "Well, how did she get a stalking order against you?" She said, "Well, for my YouTube videos." And I said, "Well, you can't get a stalking order for YouTube videos. That's free speech. I mean, what sort of a threat
Right.
were you to her?" "I don't know, but the judge signed the order and said I can't make any YouTube videos. I can't." And Lauren presented it to the folks at CrimeCon, and now the CrimeCon folks say, even though I have a ticket, I can't be in CrimeCon. Now, we were in this enormous hotel. We were in the Gaylord Rockies Hotel outside of Denver in Aurora, Colorado. The hotel's enormous.
Okay.
So CrimeCon said, you can't be in the event space. But the hotel said,
yeah, I'm sorry, but there's... Let me read some of your comments. She sneakily asked Nadine for her copy, of which she was never intended to receive, unbeknownst to Nate. Gross AF. Why is a lawyer becoming a crime writer? You know what? For me, it makes perfect sense. Who would be better to talk about crime than someone who knows the system? Like I tell you guys all the time, I've learned a lot over the last 5 years. I don't know shit compared to people who actually work in the field and have went to school for it. I think that you have a lot of value if you're an attorney or, I don't know. All sides are immature and wrong. I think it's more possible that Lauren's mean, dirty girl behavior is coming to bite her. I've seen a lot of people say that. I was a casual, hidden true crime watcher before the stream, and I immediately agreed that law and crime suck. I hate those Morgan & Morgan poorly timed commercials. I also felt like there were a lot of red flags in her stream. Okay.
we can't kick her out of the hotel. She has as much right to be in the hotel as anybody else. So that's the piece that people don't really understand. Is the hotel told her she could still be in the hotel.
Right.
So now Lauren's going on with
he was a
CrimeCon. Sorry, but CrimeCon is being held at this hotel, right?
At this Gaylord Hotel.
This is a great point, Jen. Jen says she thinks Lori family only spoke out because she was a witness for the respondent. And I can imagine if you're witnessing this and you feel like this is a gross misuse of the courts, you're an attorney, you're probably passionate about that. You would feel compelled to speak out, and you might almost feel like you're wrong if you don't. You know what I'm saying? There are times when it is the right thing to do.
Big event hotel,
right?
Big
okay. So
you witnessed this, and you're about to hear it.
So even though CrimeCon is saying you got to leave, the hotel is like, no, she doesn't.
Right.
Okay.
So
got it.
The hotel is a big convention center hotel. So there's a whole bunch of space in the hotel for conventions and conferences. So CrimeCon says you can't be in the conference space that we're using. But the hotel says we can't keep her from being in the hotel.
Randy.
Got it.
So Saturday evening, I went down to the bar. And I've been doing this stuff long enough that I've met people. So I went down to the bar and I had a drink, and there were, I don't know, 8-10 people all sitting around in this sort of lounge area with couches and chairs. And every year CrimeCon does an awards ceremony. So the people who'd been to the awards ceremony were coming out, and they all ended up in the bar. Now, this bar is huge.
The bar is huge.
Maybe
number one.
Half a football field big. I mean, it is a huge bar space.
This is so unnecessary, but
so
it's just me.
The woman who Lauren calls her
dragged
stalker,
a lot of people into it.
Right.
Was sitting in that collection of people with me and several other people, and the awards ceremony let out, and people started filtering into the bar.
Okay. Juju says, how is it stalking? If Lauren has to go somewhere to be stalked, she has to go to court. CrimeCon TikTok. I never knew stalkers required you to come to them. Have to go in the bar and look and see if you're there. Oh, she's there. Let's go. We want to go. That's a good point. And then Melanie, I want to read, all opinions are welcome. Just know that Melanie says, I'm not sure on the timeline, but Lauren did say Lindsay went into her phone to look at what money she was making on YouTube. Could that be when this manuscript was sent? I don't know. Melanie, I don't know. I think that's kind of far-fetched, hon. I don't know. Sleuthy says Lori's mentioned in the documents and stuff. Lauren put that shit out there partially for her own benefit. Lori deserves to tell her own truth, and I totally agree. Let's not forget, none of this would be happening if she hadn't done the 9-hour live. Even if Christina was right now making TikToks, number one, she wasn't naming her, you know. Okay, and number two, you have to go to the TikToks and see it. Small following, couple hundred people. I just think now you've made it where these people have a right to respond. Pretty crazy claims you got out, you know. You could expect that.
Lauren said,
and what did she expect? What in the hell did you expect?
She was at the award ceremony. I don't know. I was
is it
just
a fuck
sitting
it,
there.
It's all coming out anyways.
A couple of other creators were sitting there, and Anjanette Levy from Law and Crime came over and sat down on the couch with us. And Christina, who is the stalker, was sitting around kind of in this group, sort of off to one side. And just a couple of minutes later, 2 Aurora police officers walked up to her and said, "Are you Christina?" She said, "Yes." And they said, "Can we talk to you?" And she walked away with them. And Anjanette Levy said, "What the hell was that all about?" And I said, "Oh, well, Lauren went, got a stalking order against her." And that's all I said. That's all I know. That may very well be how Anjanette Levy and Law and Crime.
Exactly. I mean, it's Law and Crime. People find shit out. And with this situation, of course, that's how they found out. Come on. So I want to read this, and I do know that you can't really compare situations or judges. Every judge is different. I have seen protection orders that I never thought would go through, and I have seen ones that should have went through that didn't, and always I have seen one judge say this and another say that. Unfortunately, we've seen quite a lot of it in these little communities over the last few years. But I still think it's important to acknowledge the daggum truth says throughout the Idaho 4 case, I was deplatformed 8 different times, received death threats, and put my kids on 4chan. How in the F did she get this order approved? Well, that's the thing. Temporary order is different. The judge was telling her clearly, you can hear, and we played it yesterday, you cannot, a stalking injunction doesn't give you the right to get someone to not use their social media to say what they want. I don't remember his exact words. But, we've seen really extreme things happen that still didn't, where people tried to get orders and couldn't. So it does seem pretty tame, this situation, right? Compared to some of the nasty lowdown stuff we've seen.
Got in on this.
Right.
So,
like I said,
I mean, it's what makes the most sense.
Right. So I finished my drink and left. That was, I think, the second or third time I'd ever met Anjanette Levy. We're not friends. We don't talk, and I finished my drink and went to my room. So, and CrimeCon was over the next day and I left. So I didn't have any idea what was going on. But when I got back from CrimeCon, I was kind of pissed off by the fact that I felt like Lauren was misusing stalking orders.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fuck around with this woman. I don't swear on my own channel, so.
No.
Again, I can imagine if you're an attorney, you might be passionate about this, right? Someone misusing this. Hell, I would be, and I'm not an attorney. It's pretty infuriating to see the way that people will misuse the courts.
Swear on mine all you want.
I know.
Yeah.
And we've seen that a lot.
But I really felt like she was just using stalking orders. And there's been a lot of this going on. There's a Canadian creator. His name is Ian Runkle. He's got a woman from Wisconsin.
We love Runks here.
I do too. And he's got a woman from Wisconsin, I think, that he's fighting a stalking order over because he said negative things about her. And it seems like it's kind of going on in the true crime community and in the
It is.
YouTube space.
True.
So I went on my little bitty channel. I have 8,000 subscribers. I'm a little bitty channel. And I said, here's what I know. I talked about the fact that Lauren
It is.
shared
Sleepy.
my
I agree.
manuscript, and I talked about the fact that what I saw at CrimeCon. And
I want to point out your comment actually because like I have a friend of mine who said, you can't really compare. I don't like the comparisons because one person's worst is their worst. And I can see that side of it. But just want to point out to the people who may feel that way, can't you see how that would be offensive to victims? Like acting like this is some huge ordeal to the people who have been, their kids put on 4chan or people going by their house, people like the really terrible shit that's happened. I can see how people would be offended by that. If you've been through hell and back and then you're like, what the? Yeah. I mean,
that's what I did. But I'm a lawyer. And so I sat down and said,
we're about to
this
get to
isn't
a part.
stalking. It's not defamation. It's not any of those things. It's Lauren being a damn mean girl because she's threatened. So what I know is that Lauren when she started her channel, she was flat ass broke.
Mm.
And she's got 317 subscribers, and she's got all sorts of Patreon and all sorts of stuff. And she's dragging down some bucks, and she's comfortable. And she does not want all this stuff to get out because the truth is, she talks about other people behind their backs all the time. She ingratiates herself with crime victims, and this is why
for those of us who haven't
He's like, wait, what's ingratiated? But hold on, we're about to get to the point.
Graduated from the Clare Institute of Law and stuff. In grades, explain that word.
So she gets in good with
Jennifer,
all those
I'm so
people.
sorry.
She promises, she tells them she's all about the victims, and she's very sympathetic, and she gets all on their good sides, and we're all friends, and then behind their backs she's texting shit about them. So
Dude,
she's saying mean.
Here we go again. See this, which she doesn't point out specific people, and I think when we get to the point that's happening, I want to see the proof because like I said, I think that's just so hurtful. But
Nasty things about them.
Wow,
well,
dude. I heard a rumor about this. But I wasn't sure. Like, yeah.
So there was this group of women.
Let me just say, I don't see this woman getting on here and flat out lying. In a situation this big, this is all over. These are huge YouTube channels. She is well aware, being an attorney, that lying on someone is defamation. Especially something like that. I feel like that would probably be defamation per se. You wouldn't even have to prove losses because, of course, saying somebody talks shit about victims' families of crime victims and is nice to their face would imply damage to a reputation, I think. Or would obviously damage a reputation. Exactly. She's not going to do that. She has firsthand knowledge. I just don't see it. But considering she has 30 years in the field and still is knee deep in it, covering true crime, writing books, things like that, I just don't see her being dishonest. I just don't. But that's just me.
Christina, the so-called stalker, was part of it. early on, before she
Right, Whittle Bunny.
cut me
If
out,
it's
I was
untrue.
in those text threads too.
But
And there were messenger threads and there were text threads. And she would say stuff in those text threads that you know, she would definitely not want other people to hear.
So, like, I mean, I'm not going to ask you what they are, but did you take screenshots?
No, but other people did.
Okay.
oh my. Okay, so I think this is important. Whittle Bunny says this seems like more defamation than stalking. Well, I would agree with you that if somebody is talking about you in a way that is untrue online, that would be more defamation than stalking. Number one, is what Christina was saying untrue? Number two, Christina did not name her, so even if it was untrue, I don't even know that that would work. That defamation would be a route she could go. Unless, like I said, it was untrue. But then again, she wasn't named. People keep swearing she was hashtagged in this and that. And I watched like chasing flip through each and every TikTok when the news was breaking. TikTok when when it was breaking.
Okay. So there are receipts.
There are receipts. Yes. Now I have the receipts for the fact that she distributed my manuscript. I have those receipts.
Very high
Wow.
standards, yeah.
And in fact, they're in the community tab, under the community tab in on my YouTube show. So I know she did that.
Exactly,
But
Robin.
the things that she was doing, you know, she was
Hey,
just
Melissa.
talking shit about people behind their backs
Right.
and talking shit about other creators. So she would cozy up with other creators, and then those creators would talk her up on their shows, and and talk about what a great creator she was, and she was getting lots of extra views, and she was getting all, you know, and then she was
I know the type.
undermining them behind their backs.
Wow.
So at one creator in particular that she went after, who was heartbroken to hear that Lauren was really not the sincere, lovely person that she thought she was. So, but this group of women who has all these text messages and screenshots, Lauren was afraid they were going to release them. And that's what started all this. It's not a stalking order. She just doesn't want people to release all of the things that make her look bad.
And if Law and Crime streams the hearing, that stuff's going to come out in the hearings.
Exactly.
And the whole world is going to know that she trash talked these victims while cozying up to them.
So then you drop the case because you don't want the world to know, but then you go on your channel and play a video of yourself crying in bed and talk about it for 9 hours. And then you're not done then. You go to Web Sleuths, and the people who work with you go to Web Sleuths, and then you go to Duty Ron, and you go on like this media tour of sorts, as if like you just wrote a new book, you know? I don't know. I'm sorry, but I try to be really fair and give grace, but dude, it's really hard to think anything else except for this is bullshit. You didn't want these messages to get out. I completely believe that they exist. However, I feel I think the other side is just immature and ridiculous too. And if you're going to name victims and what was said about them, show it. Because all the rumors and the bullshit, it's not cool. If there are receipts, show it. Like, please, you know, and I think other people need to demand that as well, because it's just, yeah, it's fucked up.
That is messed up.
Yes, it is, Will.
So she filed a motion when Law and Crime filed their media request. She and her attorney filed this just very full-throated objection to media covering the hearing. I know this because I was sitting in the bar with Christina, and when I got back from CrimeCon, I then put out my live about what had happened at CrimeCon and what Lauren had done to me. And Lauren then filed a complaint saying that this Christina had put me up to that, and that was a violation of
She
the stalk.
almost instinctively called her a stalker because Lauren said it over and over and over again. At this point, freaking Christina has a lawsuit on her hands. No?
Order
I don't know.
because she couldn't put it up, so she had me do it. That was certainly not the case, and because I'm nobody's bitch, and so Christina's lawyer subpoenaed me. So I got subpoenaed for this hearing. So I was at the hearing on Zoom when all this was going on.
Okay.
So the first thing was Lauren didn't want to come in the courtroom because Christina was in the courtroom and she demanded that the courtroom be cleared. And the judge said, no, court's public. No, pull up your big.
They expected they'd have a full day. A lot of, what do you call that when you just think like you're expected to have like special treatment? The word is escaping my brain. Lil Red says, I think it was 408 times she said stalker. If that is true, which I did hear Chasing say 400, I did not get a total. However, if my freaking comment search extension was working, I could check that. If that's true, like Melissa says, repetition is the best form of brainwashing. Repetition is the best form of brainwashing.
Girl panties and come to court.
Who does this person think she is? That is insane.
Yeah.
That is next level delusion.
Entitlement.
Wow.
Yes.
So when the
entitled.
When law and crime. So what happened was the judge had only set aside an hour for this hearing, and there was no way they were going to get done in an hour. So the judge took the testimony of two witnesses that had come from out of town, two of Christina's friends, and set the rest of it over for October 16th. On October 14th, earlier, just before that, they learned that the judge had allowed the media request. So Law and Crime was going to be able to cover the hearing.
And again, if you missed last night, this is nothing new. Custody hearings are broadcast. It depends state by state, county by county, and every judge is different. Never forget that. There are certain things that are written into the law, like, and just like what the definition of a threat, which Lori Hellis read out, the Supreme Court, what they deemed it to be a threat. Attorneys will bring forward where they find it from other cases, and then they both argue their sides, and then the judge decides. And again, there's a lot of his own discretion and opinion can kind of go into that. So even though it is somewhat black and white, it's not. I don't even know where I was getting with that, but anyway.
So on the 14th, Lauren's attorney filed a motion to postpone.
I don't know. I'm frustrated over this because a lot of stuff is streamed, and I'm sure it doesn't feel good. Matter of fact, I know it doesn't, because I have loved ones who have had their information in court stuff and all that, and so I know. But it's part of our justice system and the internet colliding, okay, and the fact that we have to have open courts, and we need transparency in the courts. It's important, right? So it's very important for many different reasons.
On the hearing.
I understand that would be tough, and I'm sympathetic to that to a degree. But not when you drop it and then you come on and you present all your evidence anyway, and we don't get the other side. It just feels like unfair bullshit.
Denied that. The reason he denied it was because he had some real misgivings about the fact that
look at those emails. I saw your
during the period between the two hearings, Christina was still, her First Amendment rights were still being trampled over because because the order was still in place.
Right.
So he did some revisions to the order, but then he said, we need to get this hearing done right away. So when Lauren's attorney filed to have it continued, the judge denied it. And once it was denied, then she dropped the hearing altogether. So then she gets on and does a 9-hour live. Who does that?
Crazy
And
people
she
do
says,
that, Lori.
I'm taking back my narrative, right? I'm taking back my narrative.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. She just figured that if anybody was going to make money off this, it was going to be her. Sure.
Clearly,
that's
how.
Not
and she got a lot of views on it. It was at like 400,000 last night. But even though use of that word narrative is like, huh? Your narrative? Okay. And then Tess, yeah, there are supposedly recordings of some of these things. And then, like she said, there's receipts. I don't know if there's screenshots. I don't know what, but like I said, I wish that they would be put out. I think that that's only fair for all sides.
on crime.
That's how it came off. I mean, that's the picture. She painted that picture herself.
And then, of course, all of her little minions inundated her with donations.
You are
and yeah.
Wow.
Oh, poor Lauren, poor me. So, I mean, the bottom line is that she's a liar. So here's what I found out just recently. When my publisher sent out my manuscript, it went out to media outlets. Now, it happens very routinely where a publisher sends a book out to media outlets and asks them
get reviews.
To get reviews.
Yeah.
So it was sent out, and it went out during one of the trials. I can't remember.
I'm sorry. Truth said the whole part about her brother's sperm postmortem sent me, so I bounced. I need the Cliff Notes version. Yeah, we went and watched the video about that, but again, she doesn't name her. A lot of her videos are like, here was a red flag in my friendship. You know, have you ever had a friend act like this? Have you ever heard of somebody doing this? Like, a lot of them were really like that. It seemed like, and like we said last night, it was more for like Lauren to see, to be like a we know and we type of thing versus for the world, right? She had a much bigger platform. She could have put these videos on, and she put them on her little TikTok. Some of it was bizarre, like you know, you don't really have a place talking about her brother's death and all that stuff. And then that whole situation was even more bizarre. I'm not going to comment on my thoughts on that. I just think that why are you? I don't know. I don't even know why you're telling somebody this stuff. Look, you said the brother sperm sent me. This person says, the pretend judge, the brother sperm sent me. All of y'all were like, oh my God, too much. Hey, chasing.
Remember which one. And Nate Eaton, he was from East Idaho News and was very, very deeply involved in the Lori Vallow case. And Justin Lum, who was the investigative reporter from Phoenix, who was very involved. They were standing in line, one behind the other. And Nate said to Justin, did you get a copy of Lori's book? And he said, yeah, I just got it. And Lauren was standing right in front of him. And she said, oh, I haven't gotten my copy yet. Will you send me a copy? And Nate didn't realize it. And he mistakenly sent it to her. And then she sent it out to people. Yeah.
Oh,
so she lied to him and told him, you know, oh, I haven't gotten my copy yet. She was never intended to have.
Okay, I need to pause for a second. People that are saying these screenshots don't show enough, they don't show, you know, these emails. I'm curious, like, what do you think, though? Because we have multiple people saying, hey, they sent the book to me. Like, you know what I mean? That's not just one person. And let's look here. From Lauren and John, subject, forward, Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, and the story of the murderous faith. Children of Darkness and Light by Lori Hellis. You can clearly see it here. Forwarded, Nadine. I don't understand what you guys are saying is missing. I will always be fair and look at both sides. Also, you don't have to agree with me to hang out here and give your thoughts. As long as we ain't fighting over it, we can keep it cool and discuss all sides. But yeah, I'm confused on what is missing from these receipts.
And you've posted the receipts on this stuff on
Yeah,
community. So do you?
It's on my community tab.
If
Last
you
night,
can,
Lori showed
if you
her
can comment on it,
messages,
like,
and
do
it
you
shows
plan on
Lauren
taking legal
offering
action
it to
against her?
people in her messenger.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
Not at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and that's your right. I'm not
she's
saying you should one way or the other. I mean,
I'd say she's kind of on the edge right now.
Now this is very interesting. Sleuthy says that Lori actually went through them live from her inbox. I started to watch her live from last night, but we were on so long and I was so exhausted. I guess I fell asleep or something because I didn't finish it.
Now, and she may just be
I do.
she
I know
may
what you
be
mean.
just
Yes,
on
Dag, I'm
the
sure it could.
yeah, she could tip me over
She
into
right.
changing my mind.
I know
Yeah,
exactly what you mean.
that FAFO
she's-
thing could
She's right. She's in the safe zone. As long as she stays there, she's good.
But to be honest,
I'm just gonna let it
I mean, she's done all this herself. That
Right.
9-hour live, I mean, she's the one who's blown up her life, not me.
Right. Nobody. Right. It sounds to me as if that 9.5 hour live hadn't been done, nobody would be talking about this shit.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing. If somebody did a 9.5 hour live and it wasn't a fundraiser.
Right.
So,
it was a fundraiser. Trust me, it was a fundraiser.
I love it. So now I I've seen chatter and people in people's chats about some of the stuff that's and it's all rumor and I just don't know what you can confirm or disconfirm.
Right.
But like not only or I saw somewhere that not only did she trash talk these victims behind their back.
Sorry. I had to run and pee and wash my hands. But I'm sorry, her comment, it was a fundraiser. That was too good to explain what I was doing because I had my earbuds in, and I'm sorry, I have to acknowledge that. That was, ugh.
But also cozied up to the accused in one of these cases.
I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't attend some of the trials, so I wasn't there, and I don't know for sure. I mean, I've heard those same rumors, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I don't like to perpetuate rumors on this channel. So
I mean, I heard the rumors too, but I don't have any independent. I mean, one of the reasons I didn't go to the last two Lori Vallow trials was because I knew she was going to be there. And I wasn't really sure that I could maintain and not confront her if I had to look at her face.
Because
so,
as I understand it, Lauren
either.
had made good friends with Tylee and JJ's grandparents.
Oh yeah.
And had gotten very close to them.
Right.
And oh my God, man, that's
at least she had made good friends with them. She's made good friends with Lori Vallow's cousin, Megan Connor. I mean, yeah, she's definitely. They're really recently cozying back up to Lori Vallow's adult son.
Okay, I'm not going to get into that. I just don't like the families being dragged into this, and I feel like put out the receipts. You guys are all messy. Grow up. Please grow up. And let me show you, because I'm not going to play any more of that. Please go check out Will's channel. Please watch the full interview, watch the full live, and check out his other stuff too. Like I said, he talks about a bunch of different stuff. This is all I know when it comes to, like you guys said, what does John think of this?
Oh, they're listening.
Well, first of all, hold on. Before we play this, let's acknowledge that this 9-hour live was done. Then we have the media tour. Then it was, if you want more information, come over to Patreon. Okay. And if you want even more information, like go to the next tier, if I'm not mistaken. Now that part I'm fuzzy about because I've heard it different ways and I'm not on their Patreon. But here's what they say about it. And the quote unquote stalker.
Go ahead. Oh, they're listening. Go ahead.
Thanks for being a Patreon member.
I'm sure they erased they redacted that animal.
Dude, you can't put that in.
I don't know what else to say. It's weird, but
Thanks for being a Patreon member. So Humanimal points out, can someone please tell me who she's sending the email to? Who is it forwarded to? I am sure they redacted it because remember, they reached out to her, the one did, from like an alternate email. This was, they said, I don't want to be involved multiple times. So probably redacted it before they shared it, or I don't know. They couldn't have redacted it when they sent it. Actually, yes, they could have. They could just erase it on the message. I've done that forwarding stuff. But yeah, so I wouldn't expect to see like who it was to. That's kind of, to me, I don't know. That's kind of like nitpicking. You know what I mean? Because we get to see all the rest of it.
Very weird.
Well, I guess
Very
I could say thanks to
weird.
all our patrons
Yeah, we
except our
looked at it,
stalkers. Like,
Jason.
I don't know. That's
I
weird.
know I'm grateful for that too. Supporting our
No,
channel.
why don't we say
I still have it pulled up.
thanks to our patrons, including our stalkers. And hey, if you guys really want the scoop, you're gonna have to upgrade your tier level.
Yeah. You want all the private texts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please
you want all the
upgrade your
private
tier
text.
level to get the full Patreon experience.
Yeah, as we sit here and laugh and giggle because what'd you just get?
So, I mean, come on. I don't know. It's not a joke. And look, like, I'm just frustrated today over what it stirs up for other people that aren't involved because you couldn't handle somebody saying, like, some talking about you in a negative way. It's going to happen. I don't know. Behind the wall demeanors were so different. Rage button. Check your text. Humanimal. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to comment too much on that. It seemed a little bit strange to me, but I don't know. I think that's such a personal topic that's really not my place to say, as long as it's legal and it's, whatever. Really watch it. Abhorrent. Hey, Oz. All right, so here is the email. Let me go back to it because I'm missing what you're saying isn't there on the receipt. It says concerned anonymous at to Lori to do forwarded message from. Yeah, it's erased. The 2 is erased. Not surprised by that. I would erase it too if I was going to forward it on. So to me, that doesn't mean too much, The daggum truth, I've heard, I have a couple friends who had that opinion. I'm not sure. It was uncomfortable to watch. I'm sure covering it is absolutely awkward. It is, but for me, it's like today, after last night, like we talked all about it, right? And then at the end, Kresha comes in and she makes those comments that we talked about at the beginning. Hey, Jim. And the comments just like stuck with me. And it's all I could think about. And I'm like, there are things like this that make me question, do I even want to talk about true crime? But then I know that I talk about a lot of unknown cases and stuff too. And I think that's important. But It's like a family member feeling like this creator built this huge channel off the backs of your loved ones, right? And that's how you feel now after the fact, once you hear that she's been saying nasty stuff about him and everything. And like that just stuck with me so much. And the comment that she felt invisible, that's gut wrenching. You know, those voices matter more than anybody's. Who the fuck are we? Who the hell am I? Who the hell is Lauren? None of us are important to that story in reality compared to the ones affected and involved. I don't know. It just hit me a different way. And I wanted to talk about it. Stuck with me too. Oh, I was thinking about it like all morning and all night chasing. And I could tell, like, it affected it. Just, you could feel it in the air, right? Like, once it was said, I don't even know how to describe this because it's online, right? But I could feel like the other ladies too, like, it just feel it like hit all of us in the gut. You could feel like the energy. I don't know. And that's, I don't know. I just never want to be part of that. I never want to make somebody feel that way. I never want to just talk about these people's stories, even her comments, right? Here's her comments whenever like she wants to talk about it. I think her voice is most important. So I don't know. It's affecting just about the whole social media. Well, that's another point I wanted to bring up just quickly. The bigger conversation is what it's like being a creator, what happens on social media, how far can things go. We've seen it go a lot further than this in this little, not where like necessarily the true crime community, but where that connects with trauma and drama and stuff. You've seen some really low down shit happen. You know, sharing pictures of each other's kids, talking shit about each other's loved ones, pulling up everybody's criminal records, court records, history, restraining orders, going by houses, like just so much stuff, sharing people's nudes, like pulling their nudes up on your screen and talking about like, except for just marking out like the man's thing or whatever, things like that. There is so much stuff that happens. It's part of being a creator, putting yourself out there on a platform, not necessarily creator, I guess on any social media, putting yourself out there. I think that's an important conversation to have, but I think what's going on here seems to be just petty shit talking. And also I think that she opened up a can of worms, and now it's time for the worms to come out and go all over the place, because when all these kind of claims are made and shit, I want to see everything to back it up. If those receipts exist, like we just heard, she said it with a smile on her face as if she's 100%. I don't see her lying, knowing the laws, knowing what defamation is. Put them out. It's the Jimmy Fallon effect. When you learn that this hilarious persona is just an act for the screen, when you meet him in real life, he's an asshole. That is applicable in many areas, right? Let's see what Melissa said. At first, I was pissed at Long Crumb, but then I woke up the next day and she was still live, and I slowed my judgment. Wasn't her depth civil too? Did she cover it? I don't know if she did, but yes, and there's a lot of other civil cases that are like, there are literally judges that have YouTube channels that stream all day, custody hearings, everything. It's just the truth. Hey, meow. How authentic can I be with a production team and editing? Sorry, I can't with that bed sobbing video. Doesn't mean she doesn't have real emotions versus I don't trust videos like that. Same. I agree with you. That right there, I can never imagine. And I know y'all could not imagine, like I said yesterday, imagine clicking on my channel and seeing me, right? Like over here on StreamYard, except for, okay, I'm on camera and I'm just like very calmly. And like when I clicked in, it was like a moment where she wasn't talking. So she was just watching myself in the bed crying. I don't know. It just seems like that is like a stunt. Oh my God. I can't believe I forgot. Okay. So a big part of this live was I wanted to talk about what you guys had to say. Oh, I also want to clear one thing up before we get to that. And we talked about it last night and we cleared it up, which I had no idea about this, but a PhD is a doctor of philosophy, all PhDs. Okay, so that's like a little bit that people are confused about. Then it's like, you know, you have whatever subject you're in, but that's what it stands for. So, okay, now let's talk about, let me just put them back on. I'll just keep it like this. Your guys' comments from last night, because there was a couple interesting ones, and there is some. Okay, so right before the live, one of my friends was like, what if this is all orchestrated? What if it's a plan? Like, and I'm like, nah, I don't know. I mean, I could see that potentially in some ways, little parts of it, but I can't see like this big thing where everyone involved is like part of it, right? But what it, then I go over to the comments, and one of the first comments I read is a similar comment. Let me find it, and I'm going to read it to you guys. I don't think this is the case, but I just think the opinions of you guys are so interesting. So this person says, who said they looked at public Facebook arguments? So me AF. Hold on. Blah, blah, blah. I find it sus she did a 9-hour live. I can't even bother watching 9 hours. Now I'm going to have to listen to it all. I felt she knew something was going to be said out loud by the other party. I find it odd she spoke on the very things her son info not getting leaked, but she's talking about it. Wait. I can't, if the alleged stalker and Lauren did this on purpose to gain bigger followings and low key, they are still friends, which is why the others are not talking. I've seen crazier shit. It's all pity AF. Her side, their side, no side. But yeah, wouldn't that be crazy? I don't think that's the case, but it's interesting. That's part of the conversation. Look, 100% planned and staged and scripted. No, I agree. I don't think leave John alone, leave the child alone. I agree with that. I think most reasonable people would also. Oh no, how'd you hide Melissa? She's a mod and you're a mod, and she's a managing mod, I'm pretty sure. How does that work? Uh-oh. I'm not completely sold on it, but I do feel it's a possibility. It's so interesting. It would be, but I don't believe that. I don't either. Kind of crazy though, like multiple people, like. But let me read you guys a couple more, just because they're coming in like, and they're good comments. I swear, like, I'm amazed by the brains in some of these comment sections and chats. Are you seeing Melissa? Okay. All right. Well, first comment, what Kresha said about feeling invisible is heartbreaking. She's such an authentic, cool woman. Can somebody drop her link again? Pretty please. All right. The next person, I was a hidden true crime member for a couple years, but then during the Daybell trials, I noticed a difference in her content and reporting. I felt uncomfortable watching her embed herself in the victims' personal lives. She started to seem very pushy to me, too deep, almost as if they were her trials and her victims. Then, after Brandon's trial, when I watched her running after a juror to get the scoop, I found that very off-putting and invasive. That's when I unsubbed. Now, when I saw she posted a 9-hour live stream saying she was a stalker, I immediately felt something was very off. I got through maybe the first 10 minutes and had to shut it off. I think when you have a public YouTube channel, your life becomes an open book. After watching some YouTubers' reviews and commentaries, listening to the court hearing and hearing the judge having none of it, and learning about this whole mess as much as I could, I believe Lauren is extremely manipulative, desperate for attention and relevancy. I think that 9-hour pity marathon in bed, fully clothed with full makeup in some hotel room, was a money and attention grab. And if people wanted to learn more, they have to pay to know. If that's not manipulative grifting, I don't know what is. I saw no evidence of actual legal stalking. I did see more than one other person bringing up Lauren's mean girl crap, and I won't even start on her using her husband and son as tools. Lastly, I believe everything Chasing has found out. Clearly, there's a pattern with Lauren alienating people. I have much more I could opine on, but it's not necessary. That was a great one. All right. Again, a lot of people correcting that PhD, which that's why I wanted to bring it up again. See, these things I think are important to follow up on. Someone said Lauren herself has destroyed her own career. Okay, let's keep going. I don't think that's true. I think, it just depends on what happens from here, but all right. Holy Mean Girls, Batman. This whole mess seems like girls gone mean, held back in high school. Who does this to another person? The public taunting and trying to make another person terrified for their family's safety. Well, how did she try to make her terrified for their safety? I don't see that at all. I think she dismissed it because she couldn't control the narrative. She used the court system to bully, and when she realized that person would get a chance to defend herself, she no longer wants to do it. I unsubscribed from her channel. I don't support people who do that sort of stuff, not to mention a 9-hour stream is being over dramatic. Everyone in this situation is unlikable. Another PhD comment. This person says, why is everyone assuming there's something that will come out with something Lauren has done wrong? Until I see that, I won't assume anything. That's a fair stance. So I feel like put out the receipts. Stomach's growling. Let's see. This person says they get jumped on every time they say they don't agree in other places. All right, the next comment. My heart broke for Lauren. Her footage was so raw, making her very vulnerable. I hate stalking. Again, what a great show and discussion. I especially appreciated Kresha's input and perspective. I'm so sorry that she has felt unheard and invisible. This makes me so sad to hear. Sending Kresha and her darling parents all the positive vibes. A person mentions this is the first show I've heard that someone mentioned the drinking. This person says it's important to know his credentials. If he isn't licensed, he has given advice on our podcast that makes it unreliable. By the way, you guys covered this in a very objective manner. Really enjoyed. So go join the conversation. Join it here. I think it's so interesting hearing from you guys. Some of you are just really smart. Like I said, I'm always like kind of stunned when we have discussion, like deep discussions, especially on topics that involve psychology and things, because my chat is full of freaking brilliant people with master's degrees and all doctorates and all kinds of stuff. So I love hearing from you guys. Yeah. He's licensed. It was fact checked. Right. But they were just saying that's why it's important to look, because we were talking about that. Plenty of blame and responsibility to go around. So yeah, you guys, I think I'm done. That wraps it up. I want to see the receipts. Please stop the mic noise. Mary and I are begging. What are you talking about? What noise? I'm not touching my mouse. I wonder what that is. I'm not even touching anything. I was looking at my phone, reading off my phone. I don't know. I told you. I'm so smart. The wind. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what it is. I'll try to fix it. But there's no wind right now, you guys. Like none. See? Not touching anything right this second. There's no wind. I wonder if it's like moving the cord for the mic. That's the only comment they've said the entire stream. Listen here. If it ain't for you, it ain't for you. That's okay. I'm cool with that. But I do apologize if it's driving somebody crazy because I don't know what it is, but I could see a heightened awareness and prevention covering true crime all the time, but this is not that. It's movement. Is it doing it right now? I don't hear it. All right. Well, I'm wondering. Weird. Anyways, sorry about that, you guys, but thank you for being here, listening to me going through all this. Let me know what you think down below. I'll probably sit and let this soak in all night too. And yeah, I look forward to seeing the receipts. I want to see the proof of some of these noises, I was reading the comments. Some of these accusations. All right, you guys, I'm out of here. I wonder if it's moving this and moving the cord. Because I have a habit of doing that. I'm moving around the mic as I'm talking all over. Sometimes. But at that point, I was reading my phone, but I do hold it. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all. Wow. Okay. So I need to stop moving it. Okay. I'm going to try. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you so much. I really do. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to the chat. Everybody, all opinions, you kept it respectful, and that's all I can ask. And yeah, just don't forget that there's a bigger picture here than how it affects the ladies involved, because unfortunately it includes the worst times of people's lives, like their loved ones being murdered. And that's the most important part. Go check out Will's channel and all the ladies' channel from last night. And yeah, have a good night. See you guys tomorrow. Bye. Oh yeah. No, tomorrow's Friday, so it's football. So I might be on during the day. But by next week, I'm going to have a schedule. I'll probably be on Monday through Thursday around 8:30 to 9 every night. So I want you guys to know in case you don't get notified. All right. Have a good night. Bye.